everyone. We are back with another Smash player profile. This time I'm doing one of my favorites, which is Peabnut. So, I grew up in North Carolina, pretty close to the South Carolina border in the Charlotte area. And so, as I was starting to get into tournaments during the Smash 4 days, um, I was familiar with players like Dandy Penguin, Kai, Lazy Boredom, eventually Don Quavius. North Carolina was starting to get up there a little bit, but South Carolina started to get more attention as well. I became aware of Peabnut for Smash 4 Boot Camp, which was an invitational that VG Boot Camp ran. It was kind of like Summit, but just hosted by BGBC instead of Beyond the Summit. And because Summit didn't do anything at Smash 4, they started doing Ultimate in 2018, but Smash 4 Boot Camp happened before then, and Peabnut got voted in, got some good wins. Also, throughout like the later part of Smash 4, got some solid wins. 13th place, got 9th at Smash 4 Boot Camp, got ranked 85th, not too shabby. Peabnut and Arfang were pretty much the best in South Carolina at the time. Arfang getting a little bit more notoriety in terms of a controversial Summit run in Ultimate, but Peabnut starting to stack up the wins a little bit. We see the rankings not too strong. Nothing really pre-COVID or early post pandemic, but started to get very, very good. So, as a whole, has a slowly improving run as we go through. So, got a few good wins here. Omega when he wasn't quite as good. Fatality, Spandex, even some players that we don't really talk about anymore. But 2022 started to turn it around. Got a Zomba win. Let's see which event this was at. It's being a little slow to load. This was, I guess this was probably a while ago, but has a lifetime head-to-head record on Zomba. Makes sense. This matchup probably doesn't seem very good, but started to get some good wins like Jake, Base Mage, and Base Mage was pretty good at this point. Got top 8 at a Summit, Jazzo, Regalo, Zenodo. And then started stacking like crazy. Beat Zomba. Lima, I believe, moved to South Carolina for Winthrop, which is a smaller college in South Carolina that really started beefing up the esports division. With kind of farming Robs, Zomba twice, Anathema, Big Boss, and some other good wins along here as well. Paulo Kage. Apparently, Snake Mega Man is really bad. And does have a pretty good Snake in his region, CJ Frozen. Also got a Mutace win. So doing solidly well, but 2024, absolutely insane. Hurt win, Mia win. Now, I think this was at Cirque. Cirque 3, I think. And Cirque was very infamous for being a kind of a toxic environment, very crazy, I think people were they were skeptical of taking these results super seriously because the Japanese players did not have a good experience. But, I mean, you don't get Mia, Hurt, Snow, Tama P. Those are not accidents. That's very good. Has a Syrup win, but Syrup wasn't quite as good at the time. More Zomba wins. So just really taking Zomba's number, taking his lunch money. And a bunch of other good wins. Shutone as well. And then really started diversifying the wins in 2025. Spargo, Leo, Sonics, Syrup when Syrup was good, Light, and then some more Latin America, the Shiny Mark Tune. Not quite as good against Japan, but started to do pretty well across the board. And then this year has had a huge showing up. I think it was it was Afterburner and Let's Make Moves. Yeah, these few up here. I guess the Summit that Vars had. All really good placings here. Third, fifth, second, fourth with some of the best players. Is one of the best players against Japan. 3 wins against Kakikusu, 2 against Miya, 2 Kameme, 1 against Hurt, which a pretty big losing record. But did get that first set win, and each set has been pretty close. 1 win against Sutone, Snow, 1 against Ashimo, 1 against Akala, 1 against Tamapi, Leaf. Does have some losses to Carmelo T, Proto, Abadongo. Does have a win against Ken. So, like, one of the best players against Japan. And doesn't have a ton of sets against them. I think got, like, 17th at the, what was it? Was it Kagaribi? I think, like, the huge Kagaribi that so many people went to. Like, got 17th, pretty solid. And it just stacked up wins. Being, like, I think when I did, like, my tier list for, like, the 3 months at a time for best in the U.S. for Ultimate, I don't know if Peabnut ever got to, like, that top tier with, like, it was what? Tweak, Syrup, Zomba, Light, a couple others occasionally. I don't know if Peabnut ever got to that top tier, but now it's looking like Peabnut is probably surpassed Light, probably surpassed Tweak. Zomba with a good Genesis probably won't get surpassed, but Zomba has a losing head-to-head against Peabnut lifetime. So Peabnut might be the best in the U.S. right now. It's pretty crazy. But, I mean, it's getting ranked higher and higher. Started out pretty low and then got top 50-ish in 2024 and then top 25 throughout the entirety of 2025. And so has a really, really strong month and a half to this point. So Peabnut is, in contention for best Mega Man of all time. I know Kameme had a very historic time with the character, revolutionizing a lot in Smash 4 and early Ultimate, but I think P might be the Mega Man GOAT, and is definitely the South Carolina GOAT, in contention for Carolina's GOAT with PPMD. I think might get it pretty soon. So, yeah, Peabnut is pretty scary. It didn't go to Genesis, but is going to a lot. I mean, East Coast has been living with a lot of these stuff. Like, they'll have Winthrop stuff, there'll be Miami, eventually. Cab Clash it's really been really cool to see Cab Clash really pop off. And, yeah, I think Peabnut will continue. I don't know if Peabnut's going to Flash Flood. But, I mean, Battle of BC's coming up, which that's West Coast. I don't know if people. Probably go to Gommel. Probably go to some Florida or Georgia thing. But, yeah, I expect to see Peabnut in more top 8s consistently. Because the better you do, the higher you get seeded, and the more likely you're going to have matchups that are a little bit easier. If you're like, 31st seed, you might have Miya in the, top 64. Like, that's going to be tough, and then you're going to have to do double the matches. But if you have favorable matches, and then you're like, the 6th seed, you're going to have easier matches to get to the winner's quarters, winner's semis, and then have more opportunities. So just getting these really high seeds and doing really consistently against so many good players is really impressive, and I'm happy to see the Carolinas represented again. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm excited to see more.